Good day, everyone. We are Group 2, and today we will present our research entitled A Study on Ethical and Social Responsibility Issues at the Holzcraft. This study explores the internal ethical dilemmas faced by a fast rising restaurant in Manila and how fairness based strategies guided by organizational justice theory can transform its workplace culture.
So, for the background of the study, the Holzcraft is a Filipino-Japanese fusion restaurant in Ermita, Manila. In less than a year of operations, it has become a popular destination for locals, tourists, and overseas Filipino workers. Despite its front-facing success, marked by quality food, inclusive ambience, and community appeal, the business experiences internal issues common to the hospitality industry. These include overworked employees, poor communication, inconsistent leadership behavior, and unclear decision making. Based on field interviews and internal observation, we discovered that ethical problems often emerge during peak hours where task assignments become unclear, discipline becomes inconsistent, and tension rises due to lack of structure. These stressors lead to employee burnout, low morale, and a decline in a team cooperation. This study uses Gerald Greenberg's organizational justice theory to examine how fairness or to lack therefore affects employee well-being and ethical workplace behavior. So next, objectives of the study. Our research was guided by the following objectives. First, to investigate key ethical concerns in leadership, communication, and workload management. Second, to assess how these concerns impact morale motivation and overall productivity. Third, to analyze decision-making processes at the whole craft using organizational justice framework. And to determine how internal management practices affect employee satisfaction. And finally, to propose ethical strategies to better equity, communication, and professional treatment in the workplace.
Organizational justice, covering distributive, procedural, interpersonal, and informational fairness, strongly affects job performance and employees' well-being. Distributive justice involves fair task and reward distribution, and balance causes stress and disengagement. Procedural justice stresses consistent rule application, as is inconsistency leads to distrust. Interpersonal justice centers on respectful treatment, which reduces conflict and builds morale. Informational justice highlights the importance of clear, transparent communication to avoid errors and empowers staff. These principles help explain internal ethical issues at the Holzcraft.
Our study uses Gerald Greenberg's organizational justice theory from 1987 as its guiding framework. This theory explains how employees evaluate fairness in the workplace and how these evaluations impact their behavior and satisfaction. The four components of the theory are: first, distributive justice. Is the workload fairly distributed? Number two, procedural justice. Are rules and decisions applied consistently? Third, interpersonal justice. Are employees treated with dignity and respect? Fourth, formational justice. Is information shared clearly and honestly? By evaluating ethical issues at the Holzcraft through these lenses, we can pinpoint what causes breakdowns in motivation, performance, and morale, and also how to address them carefully.
Methods of data collection. Our research employed a qualitative case study approach. We conducted a semi-structured interview with head chef Christian Anthony Paruli, who plays a key role in decision-making and team coordination. The interview revealed recurring issues such as emotional exhaustion, vague instructions, and inconsistent discipline. We used thematic analysis to identify patterns aligned with the four dimensions of organizational justice. We also aligned these themes in literature to ensure academic credibility.
The Holzcraft, a 15-person cafe known for its artisan coffee and Filipino-Japanese fusion menu, values inclusivity, community, and ethical sourcing. While it fosters a strong internal culture, it lacks formal external CSR efforts like community outreach or environmental initiatives, expanding into food drives or local partnerships. could enhance its community impact, trust, and sustainability.
From our interview and analysis, we identified four central ethical problems. Number one, distributive injustice. Some staff are repeatedly assigned long shifts or more, demanding tasks without extra compensation or rest. Number two is procedural injustice. Disciplinary measures and shift decisions are often inconsistent and perceived as bias. Number three, interpersonal injustice. Communication during peak hours becomes more disrespectful, sometimes bordering on verbal aggression. Number four is informational injustice. Vague instructions and last-minute changes leave employees confused and unprepared. These ethical concerns don't just reduce performance, they undermine employee dignity, increase emotional fatigue, and raise the risk of staff turnover. Over time, they can erode workplace trust and the restaurant's internal culture. Using organizational justice theory, we analyze these concerns. Distributive justice. Task imbalances lead to employees' burnout and feelings of unfairness. This affects motivation and even increases the risk of ethical shortcuts. Procedural justice. When discipline or task delegation appears inconsistent, employees question leadership credibility. This harms trust and creates division in the team. Interpersonal justice. The tone of leadership matters. The interview revealed that the curt or dismissive communication during peak hours lowers psychology safety. Respect is essential in maintaining cooperation. Informal justice. Lack of clarity during operation causes delays, service errors, and stress. Staff need not just instructions but context, rationale, and feedback to feel empowered. Ultimately, these four issues are not isolated. They're interconnected. An unclear rule can lead to harsh communication, a heavy workload, can cause emotional outbursts. These patterns suggest an urgent need for holistic reform.
Recommendations. To address these issues, we propose four practical, fairness-based solutions. First is fair workload distribution. Use scheduling software and staff availability charts to assign tasks equitably, preventing burnout, boosts morale, and reduces conflict. Second is standardized rules and discipline. Develop an internal policy handbook and ensure all decisions are consistent and appealable. This builds transparency and trust. Third is respectful leadership training. Train supervisors in emotional intelligence and constructive communication. Leaders must model calm and respect even under pressure. Fourth is transparent communication systems. Hold daily pre-shift briefings, share clear task lists, and provide ongoing feedback. Empower staff by explaining the why behind the task. These reforms align with justice theory and help the Holzcraft create a healthier, more ethical work environment where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected.
Our study highlights a crucial insight. Fairness is not just an abstract value. It is the very foundation of effective leadership and ethical management. In workplaces like the Holzcraft, where the environment is fast-paced and demanding, fairness becomes even more essential. It determines how employees perceive their work, how they relate to their leaders, and ultimately how they perform. Externally, the Holzcraft is a growing success. Its food is praised, its atmosphere is welcoming, and its customer base is expanding. But beneath this strong public image lies an internal system our study shows struggles with inconsistencies in leadership behavior, communication, and task management. By applying Gerald Greenberg's organizational justice theory, we were able to systematically analyze these issues, not just as isolated incidents, but as patterns rooted in injustice. Distributive injustice leads to overwork and burnout. Procedural injustice creates confusion and mistrust. Interpersonal injustice breaks down respect, and informational injustice leaves employees unprepared and anxious. These issues don't only affect productivity, They impact people. They shape the emotional and psychological climate of the workplace. When workers feel unheard, disrespected, unfairly treated, it leads to disengagement, low morale, and even high turnover. But there is a path forward. Improving internal fairness isn't just a business decision, it's a human one. Through simple but meaningful reforms, equitable task distribution, consistent disciplinary procedures, respectful leadership training, and transparent communication systems, the Hostcraft can not only improve its operations but also create a culture where employees feel seen, supported, and respected. Ultimately, our study shows that ethical responsibility starts from within. Only when fairness is practiced internally can a business authentically extend its values to its customers, its community, and beyond. If the Hallscraft commits to these changes, it can become more than a great restaurant. It can become a model for how businesses can lead with values, treat their people well, and thrive through fairness-driven leadership. Our recommendations are supported by current research in organizational behavior, ethics, and hospitality management. From Greenberg's foundational theory to recent hospitality case studies, our framework is grounded in credible and real-world insights. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope our research contributes to more ethical, people-centered business practices, not just at the Hallscraft, but across the industry. We now welcome your questions and thoughts.